Good evening, everyone. I'm not certain if we are, it says we are live streaming now, so I'm just gonna wait for a second till it comes up in my feed on my phone. But the loading screen that we're looking at now is for Inkarnate, which is a fantastic map creation tool for fantasy maps, and I've been kind of using it to create maps in the, well, real world setting of Helki, which is it's like a modern fantasy setting that is about, I'd say about 10 years further on than the present day. Of course, Helki occurs in both the world of Earth on the 10-year future time frame as well as in Hell. So I've been creating all sorts of hellish landscapes for the Helki universe. And as you can see in this Inkarnate map screen, I have a number of maps for various scenes and settings. So for example, this map here, I actually don't know if you can see it. My head might be in front of it, but I'll just move up to here. This map here is a world map of hell, which it's a very basic world map that I created just to give an idea. And I'll go ahead and open it up for you guys. So if you wish to have a look, you can. So this is my basic world map template for hell. And this is a global map. It's like a Mercator projection. The large single continent is the continent of Minos, and it's a Pangea-like continent. And hell itself is a world that has fallen into a kind of climate hell because of, well, for lack of a better word, mismanagement by devils. So, but as you can see with Inkarnate, you can make some pretty amazing maps. And this map actually didn't take me very long. It's very basic, of course, but because it's so large, I can't really get the kind of I don't know. I haven't yet conceived of a map making tool that would fit with such a large map in Inkarnate. Inkarnate, I think, in my opinion, is best for like large regional maps, maybe something about the size of the state of Texas or possibly larger, maybe even the United States or Europe, or smaller. And so as you can see, I've got, lots of scene maps here. This is the Mirror Spectre on the Beach of Infernia map, and here is Model's Grotto map. And then as Myra Helke continued her journey through hell, I kind of developed maps that were, um, you know, scene based on her journey. And occasionally I would try to draw some real world maps. For example, this is St. Mary's Church or Marienkirch in in Berlin, which is one of the major scenes for Helke. This is a room in Marienkirch where something happens. I call it the Healer's Chapel. I don't want to give away too many spoilers for the Helke series here. And here is a local view of St. Mary's Church and a local bar, Mio Bar in Berlin, where another scene happens. Now, I've also used Inkarnate to make a number of Dungeons and Dragons type maps. And for my last map creation stream, I did start working on the Dim Alley and Dark Lamppost, and I'm going to go ahead and open that for you guys just so, um, well, for those of you who did drop by while I was making this map, I just like to show you the finished product, which of course is quite a bit nicer than when we started out. So, and this here is a Dungeons and Dragons map for a Dungeons and Dragons game that we live streamed on Friday, which was the first episode of Battlestorm Ragnarok. And I see we have a viewer in the stream. Hello, whoever you are. If you're lurking, no big deal. If you want to just stop in and chat, please feel free. I'll do my best to respond as I'm working on maps with you. But As I was saying though, this map we used for the Dungeons and Dragons game Battlestorm Online Ragnarok Episode 1, which I ran this past Friday night, and which my friend Ted Burgess streamed to get a player's perspective, and he's over at Dungeon Master Graham also on Twitch. I've got him um, in my references on my profile. I don't know if that's the exact header, but if you scroll down, you should see Dungeon Master Graham. So if you're interested in checking him out or the game that was live streamed, you can go ahead and do that. I'm going to be making a lot of maps, both for Hellkey and for the various Dungeons and Dragons games that I run, particularly the ones that I stream, and that's right now includes I'm running a Tomb of Annihilation game. I'm using stock maps for that, but when the players get through the tomb and if they survive, I'm going to be making an adventure series of my own creation for characters level 11 through 20. And I'm also going to be making the maps for that here in Inkarnate. And that series is going to be called The Dominator, which I'll also provide module content for free for you guys if you want it over on my blog site, which is scribblersfantasticalworkshop.com. I'm also running Battlestorm Online, which is a game that Ted Burgess and I are co-GMing together. It's a lot of fun. It's inspired by a number of different things, mainly the whole anime genre where characters get end up in a virtual setting. It's like a virtual fantasy setting, particularly like kind of like a Sword Art Online. But in addition, it's set in a fantasy world that is based directly on Dungeons and Dragons and has Norse mythology themes. So, I mean, heavily involved Norse mythology themes. And the one I'm running, Battlestorm Online Ragnarok, is a I don't want to get too much into spoilers, but it's kind of a disaster um, game. It's there's a series of catastrophic events that occur throughout the campaign that the characters are constantly trying to uncover, trying to learn the mystery about, well, what's the next terrible thing that's going to happen, but and then also to foil it. So that's kind of a basic definition of the story arc for that game. And then the last game that I'm having a brain cramp. Let's see. So, Tomb of Annihilation. I'm running so many games right now. Let's see. Oh, yes, I believe that those are the only two games that I am streaming. I'm running another game, but that one is not streaming. And then, of course, I'm also working with Ted Burgess to stream and promote his games as well. So a lot of Dungeons and Dragons games coming now. Uh, Back to Hellkey, I know I said that I'd be working on a Hellkey map here, um, and we'll go ahead and get to it. So I'm working on a map right now for Hellkey 26, which hopefully will publish tonight or tomorrow. I've been writing this chapter all throughout yesterday and today, and doing a lot of the edits. It's probably still needs some editorial work. And Hellkey is an ongoing modern fantasy series that is heavily well, it has heavy climate related themes, particularly on Earth, but it also is it's a fantasy, and it's a modern fantasy. So the Earth setting, I know I mentioned this somewhat before, but the Earth setting is set about 10 years in the future. So the technology level is about the same as it is today. It hasn't really changed all that much. Um, but like other modern fantasies, and this is an alternate worlds modern fantasy, and I'll get into that in a little bit more. Like other modern fantasies, it includes magic, and the magic system that I'm working on is is what I call a curse system of magic. And the mages there, they're hunted by hell. Um, Hell craves their souls, which are wisps. And long ago, well, I guess in the Renaissance period and just before in a period in the Dark Ages, Hell's influence on Earth demonized the mages and basically turned large sections of the populace against them. And so this is where you get your witch hunting and witch burnings, for example. And so the magic system or the magic spells and things of that nature became labeled as curses, and then curses themselves began to take on a negative connotation, even though they did not initially. So I kind of wanted to put a little spin on the diabolical propaganda that kind of has entrapped the mages in this world. They force them into hiding. If they stick their noses out too far, then hell sends what is called a curse rider to go and hunt them down and rip their souls, what is called wisps in this world, from their bodies and bring them back to hell. And in the present story, some of the main characters are being hunted by a curse rider. And I'm not going to add any more spoilers here, but we're going to go ahead and work on a scene for Hellkey. And in this scene, there is a train, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to actually make a train with Inkarnate, um, but I'm pretty sure I can make some train tracks. Shouldn't be too hard. And that train is heading into an area that has been lit on fire, and I'm not going to spoil the story for you either there, but it's a forested area. It's an area in Europe. I suppose we can tell you that it's Denmark, and for whatever reason, the forest here has caught fire, and the train is heading into a forested conflagration, and so we need a forest here, and I'm going to go ahead and build a little bit of a forest by this train track, and the train track's going to run up here across this bridge. And so we're going to make a nice little forest here. Hopefully it doesn't look too uniform. Sometimes when you're plopping trees down, they can end up in rows here. It's going to make a nice little forested area. And also in this scene, I think we're going to try to add a little horse ranch, but I'll work on that later. So right now, we're just dropping some trees. Um, but if you wish, feel free to ask any questions or make any comments or introduce yourself in chat. I certainly do appreciate a lurker in any case. I hope you are enjoying our little map creation time. Inkarnate is an excellent tool. I know I mentioned that before, but if you're a dungeon master, for example, like myself, or any other kind of story creator or writer, it's just a really nice tool for making scenes. And as writers, often we don't have much in the way of artistic talent. So having access to tools that let us create a bit of visual art of some variety is really helpful. And at least it has been for me, particularly as I've been writing the Hellkey series. And it's just nice to be able to give audiences something that's not just a block of text. Oftentimes, authors struggle because there's this intimidation factor for readers just reading text, particularly on the internet. Um, and the artistic works help to break up that, help to address that I guess subtle intimidation factor, for lack of a better word. And for me, it's kind of therapeutic. I mean, I just really enjoy making maps. I don't think of myself as the best map creator out there, but I don't know. Over time, I think my Inkarnate skills have leveled up, for lack of a better word, and I've gotten relatively decent at it. There are a few tricks. I did just recently get this new machine, which is a lot faster. I did try to stream art creation before for you guys, and my older machine just kind of choked on the stream. So if you're going to stream and create art at the same time, at least get a halfway decent machine. I'm sure most of you guys, if you're gamers, you've probably got a pretty sweet machine as is. So I don't know, that might just be moot advice for you. But for the content creators out there, for those who write and might have like kind of a clunky device or one that needs updating, it might be worthwhile. Um, so so the location of this particular scene is not in hell, nor is it in the Hellkey version of heaven in the Arisen Worlds setting. And apparently I've made a lot of changes to my work, so Inkarnate is recommending that I save, so I'm going to save this. We're going to call this Fire and Escape, which is also the name of the upcoming Hellkey chapter. Um, and so yeah, so we're going to save this. Inkarnate has a great way of like eating your work. So if you don't save your work, you can lose it. It's happened to me a number of times, particularly when people have come into my chat and chatted with me while I was making artwork, and yeah, it didn't quite work out too well. Okay, so we want a little bit of a like a road structure here, and I'm looking for kind of something for a berm that a train would go across. So I'm not too sure if pavement's exactly what I want, but I wonder if there's a gravel. Nope. Uh, so no gravel. Um, so let's look and see if there's something that might suit our needs here. This is a little too weird. Nah, that's snow. But yeah, I'm looking for something that might mimic gravel. I might just go back here and take the base um, pavement texture and see if that gives us anything. At this scale of zoom, it might just be what we need for our train path. Let's go ahead and get the sizing right. There's a nice little sizing tool right in up center for Inkarnate. So just you can dial in the size of whatever it is you want as you're creating your artwork. And I'm trying to match the size of this train area here. Oop, and I need to put it on the background layer. Sometimes, so the layers are, affect where you place your modifications. And I already, so the base modification here was blue water. And so I already modified it once. So I need to make sure that it's correct. So here we go. We're gonna have a nice little train path here that's going to kind of swoop in from the lower right. So we're just gonna draw it nice and smooth there. See that we got a nice little smooth train path. And then it's gonna just continue on to the upper left or to the north and west. So here we go. Whoosh. Okay, so there we go. Nice little train path. So now I haven't added the railroad ties yet, but this is where our train is going to progress. Also gives me a little bit of a sense of perspective here because I need to get an idea of what kind of size of forest I'm looking at. And I don't want to have my trees encroach too much on the train path. So it's good to go ahead and put that in. But we're going to go back to placing trees here. Going to get those trees up nice and close to the train path, especially up here in this region. And I think going to have these woods kind of bow out a little bit. Now there is some verisimilitude here. It is happening in the real world, and I actually did some research. This is in Denmark. It is near the Bronze River. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. And this is the Bronze River here. And this train is going from Hamburg, Germany, up to Esbjerg, uh, Denmark. And the passengers, being my main characters, have encountered all sorts of trouble while riding this train. Not going to spoil it for you guys if you want to read it, but needless to say, the train is under severe threat. So here we have, ooh, I'm starting to like this wavering wood line here. It's got this nice kind of rippling border, very natural feel. Trying to figure out if I want to add more. I'm really excited to get my map making skills up. I've written a fantasy series called Luthiel's Song, and I would really love to make create the Luthiel setting for Luthiel and her journeys and adventures in Inkarnate. It would be quite a bit of fun, I think. So Helki is kind of my testing ground because I'm writing Helki as kind of a work in progress on my blog. I don't really feel that initially it has to be too perfect. I feel I am going to want to have Helki in published form eventually, but it's more just kind of it's like an in between NaNoWriMo for me. It's not like crazy fast writing, but faster than I would typically because I'm a bit of a perfectionist and I'm trying to break myself of the perfectionism habit and get more content created as opposed to trying to create the perfect content. All right, so here we have a nice wooded area. Um, let's see. Now to the lower left here, I do want, I'm thinking like a farmstead of some kind, but I'm also thinking that there might be like some hills down here as well. So let's start out with the hills. Um, so I want some nice green hills, even though this area in this part of the story is rather dry. Let's just go ahead and place that there. Maybe another small little hill over here. I'm thinking that this is it? Mm, yeah, maybe some hills that kind of taper off over here to the west. There we go. So some nice little hills. Maybe another hill over here by the just like a lonely hill. There we go. So some nice hills. So now we get to add our little. Actually, before we do this, there needs to be something over here on this other side. I think I'll think about it for now. I'm not sure if I want to put more trees. Maybe trees. Yeah, it might just be nice to have a few more trees. Nice little coops of trees here. It's kind of a shady area over beside the railroad tracks and maybe another little shady area here. And I think running along the riverbank and just a few more. There we go. So that adds a little bit of balance to our picture here. I really do love trees, and these trees are really cool. All right, so let's open the catalog and see if we can find some sources of destruction. Now, the that's clouds, mist, waves. I'm going to want smoke too. I don't know that we have smoke on this map. selection? No, we do not. So let's just go ahead and add all of it. And this is going to make our searches last longer, but I know what I'm looking for, so it makes it a little bit easier when you do. And we're looking for all the goodies right now in the template archive. So, all right, we're looking for smoke. Ah, yes, okay. So, ooh, so this is a different kind of smoke. This is new to me. Ooh, green smoke. And then the terrain smoke. Interesting. Okay. So, well, first let's start out with fire. It's good to know that we have smoke, but I want to start out with the fire. And okay, looks like we have some campfire type fires. And maybe there's flame too. Yep, flames. Okay, so let's start with flames. I like these flames. They kind of leap. And let's make these flames a bit larger. As we have some nasty fires here. Size. Okay, I just changed the opacity. Let's see, how much fire do we want? I think this is about right. You want kind of a wall of fire here. It's a blaze that was set by some nasty characters, some real rapscallions. So creating this kind of wall of flame along the treetops. And it's not going to be perfectly contiguous, but I do want the effect of a wall of fire. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce the size again of the flames. I'm going to add some little flames over here beside the railroad, smaller flames. And then we'll have some little outliers here, just a couple of little spot fires that are out ahead of the blaze. Maybe just so a fire front then preceded by spot fires due to flung debris from the inferno. So kind of getting a little bit of realism here. All right, so now we have a burning forest, a train path, a little area that we've set up for a ranch. Now what we want to do is go ahead and add some smoke. And since we added everything in the wonderful Inkarnate catalog, I am going to go ahead and open up the smoke files. And I think I want both black and white smoke. And let's start out with the white smoke. We want the smoke to be pretty big. So I'm thinking I want the black smoke at the lower level. It makes more sense. So we'll put the we'll try to do this in a composite fashion and see if it works out. And we kind of want, let's see, that's interesting. Yeah, I kind of like that. It's pretty, oh, maximum size. Okay, let's see what that looks like if we just put this, just orient this right along with the blaze. See, now that gives us a little bit of a nice smoke effect. See how that's nice and dark. And let's maybe give it a little bit more of a layer here. There we go. Nice. Okay. So we have smoke and flames visible in our burning forest. And then now let's get some white smoke. And let's take down the size just a little bit. I do like that effect though. So we got some streamers of white smoke coming off of this. Mea culpa. I don't know. My microphone likes to cut out. Technology is sometimes the bane of my existence. All right. So here we go. Got some nice little streams of smoke here. Creating some virtual smoke effects for this most recent disaster that I don't think it's too much of a spoiler for me to say that the various devils have concocted. Mm, yeah, let's kind of conflate those two lines of smoke here and get another little conflation. So trying to create a realistic smoke and fire effect here. And I think this is working out really nicely, actually. It's amazing what you can do with Inkarnate. In fact, I think I'm going to have to use this effect for hell somewhere. Although, devils are trying to bring the hell to earth, so not too much of a surprise. All right, so we've got smoke and fire. I think I want to try to layer another effect onto this. This green smoke is kind of interesting. If I could actually build a train, I would really love to have some of that coming off of the train. I don't know if that's possible. Um, there's train cars in Inkarnate, but I do not think that there are. Oh, hold on. Yeah, there's just engine train baggage. That's like a bunk. So what we have is an engine. Hold on. Today. Yep, just one engine. Um, you know, that might be fun. I mean, I could drop an engine down there and yeah, let's just go ahead and do that. This thing is awfully big. So let's go ahead and put this thing down the tracks. That's still too big. Let's bring this down to track size. And still a little too big. Sometimes sizes here in Inkarnate are there's a high variance, right? Okay, this looks about right. So one of the nice things about Inkarnate is you can just drop something like this token here and then orient it so well. Ooh, and it has a nice shadow. This is not going to be perfectly accurate to the story, but that's okay. I mean, I think the readers will understand what we're going for here. And yeah, okay, I like that. This is a nice effect. Let's just orient it a little bit. What degree are we at? Yeah, there's point the nose. You see, this is nice tool here. You can just use to rotate the objects. So what do we have here? We have a very nasty fire set by devils, and we have a train. And I guess I'm gonna mini spoiler alert here. We're gonna call this a ghost train. I don't think that's too much of a spoiler. It doesn't reveal too much of the story, but we're gonna provide some ghostly effects for this train. We're gonna go back to fire because our train has been, or no, we're gonna go back to smoke. And we have this nice ghost town type smoke effect. And this must be really small because I can't see it. Okay, let's increase the size. There we go. Okay, I can see it now. And let's increase the size just a little bit more here. Let's get up to 100. Is it enough? We've got the opacity reduced. I kind of like that. I might want to add like a little lighting effect to this, but for right now, I'm liking the notion of green smoke on my little train here. We're gonna rotate this around. Yeah, there we go. Let's use this. It's gonna work. Here we go. Haha. Little cue here. Let's throw a little bit of this nasty smoke over the train. And let's drop another one. We'll have to move it. Let's just get this nasty, gnarly green smoke infused train here. I think I want one more. Maybe another one. We'll see. Ooh, that looks like a little ghost, like a little. What's that guy from Ghostbusters? I can't remember his name. Slimer. Yeah, that's what it was. Slimer. It's a little Slimer there. Okay, let's move that. Move him over to here. Okay, I wonder if there's a way to move this to the back. Want the train in the back, not in the front. Oh, yeah. Move up a layer. Boop. It's not doing it. Let's put out front a little bit. There we go. Yeah, and I think I might want just a little bit more green smoke on my train. This is so fun. This map is really working out. I've been just so used to doing hellscapes. It's nice to have different colors. And let's rotate this one around. Ooh, actually, I think that's about what I want. Yeah, let's put this over here near the front. Okay, so yeah, let's like zoom in on our little train here. That looks pretty nice. Let's maybe adjust this just a little bit. See if I can grab. Yeah, see, it wants to go under. There we go. That's pretty nice, actually. See, now I really want to fiddle with this. This makes me want to do some lighting effects. I don't know what you guys think, but yeah, I'm thinking maybe some lighting effects on this train. Um, and I don't know really much about lighting effects, so this is going to be a new discovery for me. I mean, I've worked with it a little bit in Hell for phthalites. Yeah, and I did do like some lighting effects. Yeah, maybe something like that, something a little subtle. Oh, of course, now it's going to the back layer. So maybe if we do it on the right side, that might work. Boop. Yep. See, there we go. And maybe one here. Okay. Yeah, see, there we go. We got our ghost train, our lit up ghost train. Yeah, I like that. So from zoomed out, it looks a little weird. It looks a little freaky. Yeah, I wish there was just like a local filter that I could throw down here on the train, and there might be. I might learn how to do something like that at some point. But so here we have our ghost train hurtling toward raging fire. All right, so now for the boring part. Well, I don't know if I want to do the boring part yet. Let's not do the boring part yet. Let's see if we can get ourselves a nice ranch. I'm also kind of feeling like we need something up in this area. There's too much dead space here. What do you think? Maybe a pond. I mean, I know this is, yeah, maybe a pond. So let's go to the mask tool and put a little, where shall we put a pond? So maybe here. I think that's about right. Okay, and because we were removing, now we have to add. So we're going to add some water. Oh, and we need to get the foreground layer. And there we go. Boop. So we just added ourselves a nice little pond that is now filled with water. Doesn't seem to be enough. I think we need something else. We probably need, I wonder if we can get some bushes. I mean, we have trees. Let's see if we can find some bushes. Might be nice to have like some little bushes over there. Maybe another building too. You see now we're dealing with different map themes, so we got to be really careful not to make things look weird. Um, Maybe try this. This looks like about right. So what do we say? A few bushes over here by the lake. Too big. Let's go ahead and place these and then maybe shrink them down. Yeah, I think I want to shrink them. Yeah, it doesn't look bad. It just seemed to be a bit outsized. So let's bring them down. Let's say about 60 here. And the sizing tool again is just such a nice feature for Inkarnate. Um, I just, as a game master, I'm like, where has Inkarnate been all my life? And as a writer, I just really, really wish I had Inkarnate back in, well, like ever since I've been writing, but particularly back when I was first publishing Luthiel's Song back in 2005. So dating myself here a bit. And here we go. So we got some bushes, and that's about the size I want. I want the trees to feel like trees and the bushes to feel like bushes. And so we have a nice little gathering of bushes here over by the water hole. And I don't know, maybe we'll throw another building up there as well. But for now, I'm looking for like a farm building to put down here. Yeah. Let's see. Let's go ahead and open the catalog. And let's look at farm. And the nice thing about this is some of the buildings are just ubiquitous, both to fantasy settings and modern settings. And though Helki is there's a dwarven farm. That looks like a, dare we say that? Is that a windmill? Ha! This is a windmill. Oh, perfect. Since we are in Denmark, we must have a windmill. So let's go ahead and put that windmill over there. Oh, that is so funny. Okay, this is perfect. And um, okay, that got me excited. Okay, now for a farm. And this farm is too small. Let's maybe, I want the farm to be here. I might need to move my hills around a little bit. The train is rather large, but I mean, maybe about like this. Windmill is probably much larger, so might increase the size a little bit. There we go. And let's go ahead and reduce the size of these hills. These hills are too big for my taste. Yeah, we don't want mountains. We just want some little rolling hills here to break up the landscape. There we go. I kind of feel like our farm needs a fence. So let's see what kind of fences are available here for us. Stable fence, graveyard fence, stake fence, picket fence, wooden fence. I think we want a wooden fence. What say you? And this might also help us with the railroad tracks, or not. I think I need something a little bit different here. So let's go ahead and drop down some wooden fences and we'll go ahead and orient them. Oh my goodness. So thank you, Inkarnate, for reminding me, because boy, did I make a lot of changes. And boy, would I be so sad if I ruined my beautiful piece of map art here that's going to go in the next episode of Hellkey. So here we are. Sometimes Inkarnate takes a little while, but that's fine. Okay, so nowhere near as long as it used to take. It's, I don't know, I might need to get some more RAM. So let's orient our fence here and go ahead and link our fences up. Let's see, what's the angle on this? 56. Let's get to 56. Boop. Of course, I think I have the fence oriented the wrong way, so I need to flip this fence. All right, so let's go ahead and flip the fence. All right, we're going to need to flip the fence the other way. And what is 180 plus 56? 236. Yep. Okay, and let's go ahead and flip this fence. And this might not be the exact orientation that I want, but it gives us an idea of what our fence will look like and our fence relative to the hill. I think we want the fence to be rather large, the fence line, and because there we go. Do we, you know what? I think what we will do is leave a little gap there for later, because we might have an idea for something we might want to put there, I think. Let's see. All right, let's orient this fence here. And so we're going to have a fence along the path of the train and roughly paralleling the train tracks. So there we go. And this is going to be a farm style fence, so it's not going to be 100% perfect. Okay, I like this. And this fence will go here, and we will give it a little bit of a different angle. But we're going to up angle it a little bit so we parallel the road slightly. I mean, it's not going to. There we go. And then let's go ahead and overlap that a little bit. Maybe give this a little bit better overlap here. Move this. here. It's yeah, very useful to zoom in when you want to do detailed work. I know it makes sense, but sometimes you forget. At least sometimes I do. And I think we're going to need at least 2 more fence. We might need 3. So we're adding some fence here to our very dramatic map. Fences themselves are not dramatic, but they create verisimilitude, which is a word we love as a writer. That's a word we work very hard for. And one last bit of fence here. There we go. And then now I'm going to have to work on my hills again because you know what? We could just move the fences around the hills. Might have to shrink that one up a little bit though. Let's bring that down just a little. Here we go. And so rather large farm, as you can tell. Oop. What was the size of my 65? Okay. I was trying to change the orientation. I started to change the size, which is easy to do. All right, now we go change the orientation. And we are laying down some fence. And the angle on this is going to be a little different because we're going to go around these hills here. And we do not want our fence to be hidden behind the hills because that creates a really weird effect. So we're going to change the angle. And go like so around the hills. There. And I think 1, maybe 2 last bits of fence here for our map. So I'm going to need to, that's a little, there we go. And last piece of fence here. So because we don't want there to be a gap on the map. And we'll just go ahead and overlap those. There we go. And so now we have a nice little fence line on our catastrophe map. Oh, okay, I'm going to have to change that. So yeah, nice tool there is fit screen. It's really easy when you get zoomed into it, not realize that there's more map out there. And that's exactly what I just did. So let's see if this is going to be enough. It is not, but you know what? We can cheat this. We can just say that our farm does not continue quite as far. And so we change the angle and the fence begins to turn. And there we are. So now we have a nice farm. And that actually creates a nice effect. Typically, fences on farms aren't all like perfectly perpendicular, perfect squares. Now I feel sorry for this poor little windmill here in front of all these terrible flames. Um, okay, and so since we have a farm and we have a gate, well, actually we don't have a gate yet, so we should probably get a gate for our farm. And let's look at gates. Maybe we don't want that kind of a gate. Yeah, we might just leave this gap there's something in the story that that I'm gonna go ahead and save because this freaks me out every time I don't save. But yes, there's something in the story that might create a little verisimilitude issue if there's not a farm gate. But you know what? I'm not gonna worry about that too much right now. It is just a piece of art, and it does not have to be perfect. And we shall do something else as writers that all writers should do, even though we're not writing right now, we're just arting. We shall not let the perfect be the enemy of the good, meaning that we our drive is to create above all else, regardless of how imperfect our creations may be. Because as artists and writers, there really is no such thing as the perfect creation. Now I'm looking for a dirt kind of texture here. Wasteland brown. I don't know if I want that. Sand, land orange, land brown. Um, yeah, let's see. Let's see what land brown looks like as far as like a dirt road goes. It looks about right to me. So let's go ahead and bring the size down because the size of our farm road is not going to be all that big. Let's bring it down to 20. And probably start about here. And it is not drawing, so we need to go to the background layer because we had our nice little lake there. And there we are. So here we have our dirt road that goes out, parallels our fence, and then whoosh. Perfect. See? Now isn't that nice? Ah, right. And I mean, maybe our dirt road, I kind of like this dirt road. So maybe our dirt road has an intersection here and continues to the train, where there's a bit of a crossing, and then it goes on up here to the north and east, past our little pond, and over off into the sunset. Ah, this is very nice. This is scenic. This makes me want to add some more trees. What? I'm gonna have to open the catalog again because I've used too many different things since I was using trees. All right, let's go back to trees. And you can see you can get really confused when you start adding a lot of different things. But we were using deciduous trees. And so let's just go ahead and put some like a copse of trees over here. And we're going to make this a relatively significant area of trees. Not quite the forest, but you know, a nice place where you'd like to, I don't know, go and walk your dog or hang out if you were a kid and play in the woods, maybe build a little tree fort. Maybe there are some Danish tree forts out there. Okay, well, so I do believe that we have a really good map. The only thing left to do is add the railroad ties, which is not really super fun. Tree trunks. I don't think that's going to work for a railroad tie. Let's take a look here at the map stuff. I've saved the boring part for last. I apologize. I kind of got really excited about my fire. Wooden walls, mud brick walls. wooden doors, beamless wood door. What is this? Chopped logs. You know, if that, well, let's see what kind of ladders they have. My microphone went out again. If they had a like a ladder that was like on the ground, ooh, nah, that's not gonna work. That would do well for train tracks too. I mean, I'd like to find something that I could use where, you know, they did have trains. I wonder if they have train tracks. I don't remember looking to see if they had train tracks. Let's look at train again. Brain, that's not what I'm looking for. Vehicles, yes, train. Yeah, see, this is all like interior stuff, right? Yeah, passenger walls. Yeah, last chapter there was all this stuff that happened on the train, and I was thinking, oh, here we go. Just like, you know, if it was like a train, it would have hit me. Okay, so now I have train tracks. Yay! I am so happy. All right, let's get this down to size. I don't have to like improvise my train tracks. But as I was saying in the last chapter, um, let's kind of smoosh this down just a little bit more. Just smooshed enough. Yeah. So in the last chapter, I had, we're gonna need a lot of these, so I might as well just throw them down. In the last chapter, and actually the last, well, in chapter 18, 25, maybe even 24 as well. There's a lot of events going on the train. Um, and I really seriously considered having like trying to draw like the interior of a train where all this stuff was happening. And I think I'm gonna have to zoom in quite a bit for this. Um, so yeah, so there was a lot going on, but the I just really had no idea where I would start. I mean, I guess it wouldn't be too hard. It'd be a lot easier than building a dungeon. But like with a dungeon, you have like so much in the way of precedent. You kind of know what you're looking for. But like just building a train interior from all these like bits and pieces, kind of like Legos, seemed like quite a project. And here I am laying train tracks. But see, I'm so happy because now I don't have to lay each little like railroad tie. Yeah, and I kind of did that with a city map with Inkarnate once. It's just like, oh my God, I'm gonna have to like lay down every brick for this sidewalk. It wasn't quite like that, but it was close. Let's change the angle on this just a little bit. This There we go. And so yeah, but now we have nice little train tracks, which is going to make my life a lot easier. I'm going to finish this in about, maybe 15 minutes or so, as opposed to another hour just laying down each. I don't know, I might be exaggerating just a little bit, but still. There we go. This is looking very nice. I can't believe I have a train. This is, I thought that I wasn't going to be able to do this. I'll have to zoom out to get that guy. But yeah, I thought I wasn't going to be able to do this. For some reason, I was like, no, I can't do like a modern rendering, but this works. Um, I mean, we are, of course, in a rustic area, and let's go ahead and fit this to screen. And because of that, some of these buildings, they are very similar to what you would see in a modern countryside. And let's bring the angle down this. See, we're going to kind of around the bend, so these tracks are going to have a little bit of angle to them. My buddy Ted, he ran the Dungeons and Dragons campaign that has a train in it. I don't know if we will be running any games in the Graelyn setting. Actually, you know what? We probably will eventually. Right now, we're kind of taking a break from Graelyn, but Graelyn is the setting that Ted has worked on for a very long time now, multiple years. I think well over a decade. Let's change the angle on this. And I've had the good fortune of playing in these games for a long time. So so yeah, but I mean, you guys will get the opportunity to see Greyland, I think, eventually. And let's go ahead and change the angle on this a little bit more. There we go. Maybe this one too. Eh, this is the thing with train tracks. You gotta kind of get them all lined up a little bit. Oop, see how this looks. Doesn't look too bad, like from the top level. Just gonna back this up just a little bit. There we go. I mean, railroad ties are not always perfect either. Um, in the world, very few things are. Okay, let's lay down some more train tracks here. Getting over close to the fire, which is going to be fun. Now let's just go ahead and throw some more down. So I'm very happy the way this map has turned out. Mm, very pleased. I think my readers over on the Scribbler blog might like this post, just because, you know, adding a little bit of visual flair is just always so nice. And I do recommend it if you're going to a blog. You know, creating your own bits of visual, if you have the capability, is very helpful. It helps to draw the reader in just a little bit more, and that's something that we're always trying to do as creators here, just to give them that little bit of extra to engage the mind. And visual objects do that quite well. Plus, if you're like me, oop, hey, 007 Skate Punk. Oh, I have one question. Why is the riverside of the forest on fire? Geologically, that seems whack. Wouldn't that part be the moistest, least burnable? Well, okay, so just so you know, a little bit of a spoiler alert here, but this fire has been set, and and the area is in a drought. So you're right. It would not occur naturally, but in this case, this is an intentionally set fire. And the winds here are also coming in from the upper left. So it's and actually, technically I should also be orienting the smoke to flow in this direction as well. So if we're going to be perfectly realistic, but but yeah, no, that's a good question. And in nature, it's true that fires would tend to not start so close to a water source. So that's, but in this case, I don't know. I guess it's not too much of a spoiler to say that in the story, these fires are started with Molotov cocktails. Um, And I won't say more about that because I am tempted to. Thank you for the question, 007 Skatepunk. And I apologize if I did not see the chat earlier. I was just so focused on laying down my railroad ties. But yeah, thank you for the question. It's a very astute question there. Let's see. So no. Fires do not typically start next to sources of water. But these fires, as we've established, are deliberately set. And I don't know. Maybe the folks who who read the blog are going to give me a hard time about this too. I did blog a lot on climate way back in the day. I've written over a million words on climate change, and some of my stuff was cited in the Atlantic and the Washington Post way back when. But I mean, since then, I've been getting back into fantasy writing, which is kind of my number one love. The climate stuff is pretty intense. Although it did definitely provide some inspiration for the Helki series, which is a lot of climate related themes. Particularly for Hell. I'm kind of basing Hell a lot on the Permian extinction Earth. Oh, what sounds tedious? You mean laying all these train tracks or writing about climate? Think laying down the train tracks and writing about climate. I don't know. Writing about climate is, I don't know, I wouldn't say tedious. It was more um, terrifying. um, yeah. And I'm like my background, like my professional background, like way back is more like on the threat side. So not so much on like climate science side. So I'm not a scientist, but I do understand a lot about threat and then like reading the scientific works, I'm just kind of like, this stuff is pretty freaky. I don't know if I want to engage, my threat analyst brain on this stuff. I think I'm going to scare myself. But yeah, I mean, the science itself is, it's very, I mean, science being what it is very dense, and a lot of times it circles back. Oh, the train tracks. So I made a map that I'm gonna have to show you this map now. Okay, let me save this map. I'm gonna finish this map soon. Laying the train tracks is actually pretty easy compared to what I did with the Berlin. So I did a verisimilitude map of Berlin, like a near real life map of Berlin. I took kind of like a street map and tried to replicate it. It was not a perfect replication. So when I go back to this map, please don't beat me up if you know like the area around St. Mary's Church in Berlin. But okay, so I made this map, and I'll just go ahead and I wonder if yeah, I can open this map in this tab without destroying my other map. Um, so let me show you tedious, and this is kind of like Legos. All right, so I'm gonna zoom in. You see each. Okay, I'm just gonna grab one. See this? Each one of these things, I laid that down to create the border of the sidewalk and align them. And I did that for like all all of the sidewalks here. And I mean, you can see it's not like perfect, but yeah, this map took forever. I should not have done it that way. I don't think I will ever do it again that way. But I guess I wanted to torture myself. I don't know. So we have Lady Blue Wolf in chat here, and she is an actual real artist. I'm like making maps in Inkarnate. So she like draws the stuff, right? I'm like using little templates and tabs and tokens and like kind of creating composites based on them. So it's more like building Lego set than actual drawing. And but I don't have I don't have the talent to draw what you draw. So for me, even this is like a coup for me to be able to do stuff like this. Um, and I know if like you're watching and you're like, oh my God, this is taking so long. And for me, I'm like thinking, oh, this will take me another 10 minutes at most. And um, I was afraid that I was going to end up having to um, put every one of these stupid boards down, like individually. So yeah, but but yeah, this train track is looking pretty good now. I don't know. It's I mean, Incarnate is awesome, but sometimes it's kind of Legos with maps, and you gotta take the time. One of the cool things about it is though, because a lot of it is so modular, people do like crazy stuff with Incarnate. I mean, I've seen like someone built a Zatarand, and I don't know how many of you guys who like. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you like it. I mean, this is yeah, yeah. So this is a map for Helki. For the climate fantasy that I'm writing. Occasionally, I'll like do like some map art for it, and yeah, this is the scene for the next chapter. And I'm really liking the way it's turning out. Now I'm gonna have to do this for Dungeons and Dragons. um, I've done some work with fire before. I mean, I've done a lot of hell maps, but I mean, this one's on Earth. There's like, three worlds involved in the setting, and I mean, Earth, Heaven, and Hell, but they're not like your traditional Judeo-Christian renderings of Earth, Heaven, and Hell. It's more um, one world went horribly awry. One world uh, is kind of being drawn toward horribly awry, that being Earth. And then there's one world that went through its kind of apocalyptic time and got it right, and that's Heaven. So it's quite a bit different. And I don't hit people over the head with that, as far as the writing goes, but it's one of the fun story conceits. And I hope my train tracks fit on this bridge. I might have to I might have to cheat this a little bit. Let's see. Uh, let's get a little angle here. Um, but yeah, I was a little worried about this bridge. So I think it might work. And the bridge has like an upward angle and then a downward angle. Ooh, oh, this might be bad. Mm, let's see. I was trying to get something to go to a back layer before and it wouldn't. Move down a layer. Haha! Yes, thank God. Sometimes Inkarnate just doesn't do it. Okay, so what are you mentioning here? You say you do something for reference and something gets stuck in your head? Let's see. Um, but yeah, I mean I get stuff stuck in my head all the time. Um, and for Halkey, I've written my own. I mean I've written down the some of the setting features as as part of like a reference document, so I don't forget. Um, I don't know if this bridge is going to work out. It might look a little too weird. I might have to modify the train tracks. Let's go ahead and see if we can get this to do what it needs to do. Hmm. It doesn't look too bad actually when you zoom out. Let's see, let's fit the screen. Yeah, actually it's working out. It's kind of crazy. But oh, you make backgrounds. Well, yeah, I mean you make these really cool stickers and um, you know, like all this crazy cool stuff. I mean, I don't know if Incarnate would be something worthwhile checking out for what you do. Um, the so as far as the copyright goes, all the Inkarnate stuff is considered like Creative Commons, but if you're the creator, you can sell um, like the map that you based it on if you wish. So I don't know if you have anything where you would want to drop a map. Um, but it is a really it's a fantastic little program. Um, and like for someone who's designing worlds or creating settings, it really is amazing. I do see a lot of game masters using Inkarnate here on Twitch, and it's been kind of a learning experience for me. I don't know whose idea it was for all of us crazy people to get on Twitch. Was it yours, Lauren, or um, but whoever came up with the idea, it's kind of created a bit of a renaissance of learning for me. It's taught me how much behind the curve I am in some respects. Um, yeah, so I'm trying to get the arc set up enough here so that, when it zooms out, it doesn't look too discombobulated. I mean, it's gonna, yeah, actually I think that works out. Okay. So we'll just go on here with, why is it giant? Hmm, annoying. Okay. Well, I'm gonna need to shrink those down. What was the size of these? 37. You're going from 87 to 37. Actually, no, you're not. 87 to 13. Mm, you mentioned it once. Well, I mean, but then once you mentioned it, did everyone just do it? Is that what happened? Um, I don't know where the idea came from. I think you mentioned that you used it for your art. Um, but I mean, suddenly it was like everyone wanted to do it, and I was like, well, if we do it, uh, it's going to be different. you know, we're not just all going to be private citizen game players anymore, but it's also really fun to share your games in some ways. So Lauren says, I was like, I want to put our D&D sessions on Twitch so my friends can watch. Yeah, well, I mean, the jokes are to die for. I don't know. We have like Comedy Central in our group. And and it's kind of worth watching just for that. Oh my God. Mm. So yeah, thanks for hanging out. I mean, it's really nice of you to come by. Ooh, there we go. Trying to get this angled right. And we're almost done. It's just like, oh my God, I'm laying bricks down here. Whew, this is cool. This is looking really darn cool. I mean, I'm liking this. This almost makes me want to just double this map up as like for game. To have like a fight on a train going into a forest fire. Because that would just be so fun. As far as trains go, like I have, I think 3 or 4 chapters in in Helki on a train, just because I've never done it as a writer, and I'm just like, you know what, I want to try this. And I heard about solar trains, and I was like, yeah, let's just kind of mash all this stuff up. So voila, so we have our map, and I am going to do something that I haven't done before. I'm going to brand this map. I'm going to put my little imprimatur on it. I'm fell English. Yes, I like I'm fell. So I am going to put some text down here. Let's work on our colors. We want a nice Helki kind of color here, so we're gonna make it dark, um, kind of a blood red, and then um, we'll probably want to outline it, lighter so that people can see it, right? Okay, and so go ahead and put this down here, and then write our little text. Um, and I think I'm just gonna call this Helki. Um, mm, Helki story art. Yeah, so that anyone in Inkarnate that sees it will know that it's a part of the Helki story. And I think I'm just going to put it over here in this, maybe. Yeah, I think lower right is probably going to work out better for this map. Can I put a box around it? Don't think so. Okay, so Helki story art. And let's go ahead and click off of that. So there we go, little stamp there, and I think we're done. And thank you guys so much for stopping by. Um, let's go ahead and save this. And one of the things I like to do with these bits of story art is go ahead and post them on Reddit. So I'm going to go ahead and post this on Reddit. I really appreciate you stopping by here, Lauren. It made it so much fun. And also 007 Skate Punk, I appreciate it. I don't know if I actually caught you when you were here, so I'm sorry if I got focused on, laying tracks for my train or placing flames for my fire or whatnot. But yeah, this is the completed bit of story art or map art for Helki 26, which will post to Scribbler's Fantastical Workshop tonight or tomorrow. I've finished writing the chapter, just needs an edit, so it depends on how much editing it needs. I'm not completely perfectionist when I'm posting these things, but I don't want to offend the reader by making like extremely stupid mistakes. So yeah, a little bit of editing, and the Helki 26 is fire and escape. So So thank you guys, and I will see you shortly. We did have a game canceled tonight, which was one of the reasons why I decided to do the fan art instead. I'm sorry for the the map art instead. But and I do believe though the next game that is scheduled for my stream is on next Thursday, not this Thursday, and that will be Ted's Battlestorm online campaign. Immediately. Oh, good night, Laura, Lauren. Take care. Um, and then followed by my Battlestorm online campaign as well. So Ted's gonna run it on Thursday. I'm gonna run it on Friday. So it'll looks like it'll be back-to-back streams. One that I'm going to stream myself, and then one that I'm going to host. So hope to see you then. And thanks for stopping by, Lauren. Good luck with your artwork. Let me know when you're going to do your next little bit or when you want me to host your next little bit because I'll love to throw a host your way. And if I have some spare time and or Crow here bats me with his little paw and says you need to take a break, I'll come out and I'll hang out with you and we can chat. So in any case, take care and thank you so much for stopping by. And for anyone who lurked or who watches this video afterwards, whoosh, we had some fun, didn't we? All right. So talk to you soon.